Nottingham Trent University, working with you. Proud sponsors of Working Week.
On Working Week this week, from the heart of Nottingham, we'll be looking at the independent bookshop that's thriving in our city.
If people want to look at books, they want to feel books, they want to touch books, they will come here.
And the former Trent University students who have set up business here in Nottingham and are creating jobs.
We're currently looking to take on some developers. We've got a lot of web work that's coming in now, and the sort of the push is for that side.
And the Nottingham City Councillor who's going to the south of France, but he's cycling there to raise money for charity.
It's going to be a tough ride. We did it last year. It is extremely hard. I mean, it's almost 1,000 miles in 6 days, but it's a great challenge.
All that to come, but first, what's with the hat, Des?
It's cold, mate.
You weren't expecting that,
no,
were
I
you?
wasn't. My ears are very cold. They're warm now.
It's not that cold.
Yeah, mate. You should cover your head up with
Yeah,
that
look
like
at that. I can't feel a thing. It's absolutely
He's old.
fine, glorious
He's from the
spring
northeast.
day here in Nottingham. On with the first item. We've touched before on the idea of independent bookshops and how they've struggled, but there is one here in Nottingham that's doing well, and it's got a bit of a political edge, as Andy Johnson found out.
It's hidden away. It takes a bit of finding. But Five Leaves is the latest Nottingham independent bookshop to lead the fight back against Amazon and the big high street retailers. And it does it with a radical edge.
I think that one of the reasons this has worked is because we know what we're doing. We are very interested in politics, we're very interested in labour history, we're very interested in poetry. We've got a good LGBT section. We know the parts of the shop that we know that there's an audience for. Although some things come as a surprise to us. We sell a whole pile of steampunk books and none of us has a clue what steampunk is about.
Five Leaves already has a successful publishing arm, so opening a bookshop seemed the next logical step.
One of the things I quite like about publishing is that although, again, we have to make a living from it, we can publish books that perhaps no other people would wish to. I mean, this is the first book ever on the history of whistling, which has done really well. Times Literary Supplement loved it. And although we're a Nottingham publisher, one of our big areas of interest is London. A lot of our books are London-based, and we're running a series now called Curious. There'll be Curious Camden Town, Curious Clerkenwell, find hard to say, Curious Golders Green.
But do you think the publishing side, and because you've got that niche here, is attracting people in here in Nottingham that wouldn't necessarily go to another bookshop?
Well, I think to reuse the word curious, I think people are quite curious about us, how we operate, about the strange things that we do, perhaps, compared to other bookshops. And there's not that many bookshops that are also publishing houses, and so I think people like the idea that they're dealing with people who are a little bit unusual.
As well as holding events and taking part in literary festivals, Five Leaves supports local authors.
A few years ago I started a blog with a former town planner, Adrian Jones, all about urban design in Britain, and after a while we thought we want to make a book of it, and so we contacted a local publisher who's quite widely respected, Ross Bradshaw with Five Leaves books, and right at the same time he started opening this shop, and so by working with him and this shop managed to get the book out, and it's been quite well received in certain circles.
Left-leaning, niche but successful. Five Leaves has proved there is a happy ending to the story of the UK's independent bookshops.
And this next story is brilliant because job creation in Nottingham is hard to come by, but there's a bunch of students, or a bunch of guys I should say, that went to Nottingham Trent University. They've set up the roads of business and they... I didn't say...
It's always the same when we record in Clumber Street, isn't it? Yeah. Go on, give it a go.
Well, Jobs, as you know, I've said this, are really hard to come by, but I tell you what, this is a great story. Students from Nottingham Trent University have left the university, set up their own business, and now they're creating jobs.
That's great.
We were at Nottingham Trent University together, and based in the Maudsley building where we did our degree, and that's where the Hive is based. So after we sort of finished uni, we'd heard about the Hive and went to investigate more, and ended up enrolling to do their sort of Hive startup course.
It helped us get started from a point of view of business and legalities. I mean, it was not something that we've ever really grasped before, both being students and employees. It helped us gain a handle on actual basic running of a business, what we had to do from a legal standpoint of view.
I think, especially for me, who does a lot of the financial side, that just being even given like templates and how they work and having a thorough understanding from them who've been through it
And
really
accountants
helped.
coming in.
Yeah, and like accountants came in, they had a lot of sort of classes that you could go on. When we first moved in, it was a bit of a shell.
We'd kind of gutted the place and managed to redecorate it into, like say, the space you see today. So yeah, we're very proud of it. It's taken us, like say, 4 or 5 years to get to this point now. We work with anyone from kind of small new startups, whether that's local or national, through to large kind of blue chip companies nationally, internationally, particularly in North America. And they range in industries and sectors quite a lot. So from kind of traditional business services, from accountancy and legal aid, through to industrial kind of logistics, factory, manufacturing, and then through to lifestyle and leisure products.
I think it's a key thing just to get away from the desk, but obviously I don't want people necessarily sitting down and watching TV, so it's a case of 5 minutes away, take your anger out on there, or even just to relax really, and just focus your mind a bit, and then you can sit back down and get on with your work. We're currently looking to take on some developers. We've got a lot of web work that's coming in now, and there's the sort of the push is for that side. And then after that, we'll be taking on a studio manager that's going to help with sort of the running of everything, and means that I can get out and do more of the sales side.
I don't necessarily see it ending up in a particular point. I mean, from when we'd started and what we thought it would be to what it is now is very different. So we've kind of learned over the years to kind of take it one step at a time and kind of do predictions for the next 12 or 24 months rather than 5 and 10 years, as it changes kind of on a weekly or monthly basis. But like I say, as Ross mentioned, in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll, like I say, be looking to expand the team and pick up more work nationally, and potentially looking at further south in London.
Well, for our next item, it's a subject close to my heart, Des, cycling. As you know, I'm quite a keen cyclist. In fact, the reason why I'm not as well wrapped up as Des is because I forgot, and I came into work today in a high-vis jacket, which I didn't think you'd like to see. What do you reckon?
You know what I do like to see on you? Your thighs. His thighs are like mamas.
How do you know?
You've seen them.
Yeah, I'm starting to worry
And
now. Where
hairy.
have you been peeking? But anyway, talking of cycling, and I can't really speak for the thighs of these people, there's a bunch of people from Nottingham, including one of our leading city councillors, cycling down to the south of France to raise the profile of the city and raise money for charity.
On your bike, that's what Norman Tebbit told the unemployed back in the 1980s. Well, now a Labour councillor is doing just that. He'll be one of 80 cyclists taking part in a charity ride in the next few days. Destination, France.
Here's a couple of eye-watering, or more like bottom-aching statistics for you. The cycle ride will take 6 days and cover 1,500 kilometres. But it's the event that these cyclists are going to that we're interested in.
Once he's out of the saddle, he'll be trying to persuade property developers from around the world to invest in Nottingham.
It's really important for us. It's the focus really of our regeneration activity. We've got a lot of schemes to sell at the moment. We really want to get regeneration going in the city. So this is a chance for us to be out there on the front foot selling the city and creating growth and jobs. I think we have a good offer. We've got a good package, if you like. We've got good universities, we've got skills, we've got some fantastic businesses. And I think in regeneration terms, we've actually also got a lot of opportunities. So, you know, there are sites and schemes around the city that we're very keen to sell. And we think that's something that makes Nottingham quite an attractive place. We're in the centre of the country. You know, we have a lot going for us, I think.
It's not just local politicians who will be attending the property conference in France. Representatives from the business community will be doing their bit to sell the city as a place to invest in.
There have been some major successes and developments around the city over the last 12 months, and of course our infrastructure developments with the new tram project, the development of the A453 makes the city so much more accessible for many developers. And we have to remember, of course, that if what we're seeking to achieve is to attract a business to relocate its headquarters here or something like that, the quality of life here is really important. The ability to get your people around the city and into and out of the city is really important as well. So those infrastructure developments are really important to our offer this year.
Nottingham will be competing with other cities, not just in the UK, but across the world. But Nick MacDonald and his colleagues are confident they've got a lot to offer.
I think London's overheating, and I think Nottingham has a competitive edge. Our property prices are lower, our labour costs are lower. We're not far from London. We've got great skills, we've got fantastic talent in the city, we've got some great businesses, and we've got some really fantastic opportunities. So, we think we can compete with anyone.
The cyclists are due to arrive in Cannes in France by the 10th of March. Then the hard sell starts to property developers. That's as long as they're still walking after more than a week in the saddle.
It's going to be a tough ride, and we did it last year. It is extremely hard. I mean, it's almost 1,000 miles in 6 days. But it's a great challenge, and it's for a good cause. We raised tens of thousands of pounds for Coram. We did last year, we will this year, and that's an amazing charity that does some great work for kids up and down the country.
Yeah, that's it for this half of the show, but before we go, we did forget to mention something, which is what we always say at the opening. I'm Rob Pitter, not really, I'm Des Coleman, this is Rob Pitter. He's good looking, and I'm just looking good.
We're so professional, aren't we? But in the second half, we'll be a bit more on the ball, and we'll be taking a look at a fantastic new brewery that's opened up here in Nottingham.
Nottingham Trent University, proud sponsors of Working Week. Nottingham Trent University, proud sponsors of Working Week.
Welcome back, it's good to see you, and I'm sure for you it's good to see us as well. Rob, what have we got?
I'm sure it's probably not, but what we do have is a very interesting story. We're looking at a brewery in Nottingham that's producing some very, very fine beers.
We use traditional ingredients, as local as we can, all English, as close to the old Nottingham recipes that we can maintain.
And we'll be catching up with some of the more interesting stalls, I think that's fair to say, in the Victoria Centre Indoor Market. And if you've ever wondered why we film here in Clumber Street, well, just a few minutes ago we were stopped by a passerby who was a bit of an Elvis Presley fan,
yeah,
I think
Elvis
it's fair
fan,
to say.
wasn't he? He had him on his front and his back.
Take a look at this. Hello.
What are you gonna
What you got there then? What have you got? Oh, fantastic. Is this your hero, Elvis Presley? Oh no, it's going to get worse. Oh, hang on a second. What else have we got then? It's a double Elvis Presley.
So you got two Elvises.
So what's with that then?
Turn around.
Go on then, turn around. Who'd have thought it? Elvis Presley. So you like him, do you?
Yeah.
What's the big attraction for you then?
Casino. I mean, no, not Carnival.
Yeah.
Carnival.
And have you seen Elvis?
No, I've listened to him all the time on telly.
What do you like about him?
I just like him because he's the king.
Yeah. So what else you got Elvis Presley memorabilia? Just the shirts, is it? Anything on there? You got quite a stylish coat. What's with the coat? Oh, look at this. So what's that then?
Elvis, because it's like a chapel.
Yeah.
Mate, everybody that loves Elvis can do a bit of an impersonation of him.
Can you sing?
Give us a bit of an Elvis. Give us a bit of an Elvis. Go on.
I can't. I'm dyslexic. I'm partly disabled, mate.
You can't sing?
You can't sing a bit of
Can
Elvis.
you sing? You can do it. You can
do a bit of
Elvis.
Elvis.
Shall he do one for you?
Yes.
Go on then.
I was one for the money, I do for the show. I did to get ahead, now go, get go, but don't you?
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Oh, cheers.
Which is why we film in Clumber Street, isn't it, Des? Because you never
Great.
quite know what's going to happen. But I think I was introducing the next item, which is about one of those fantastic microbreweries we now have in Nottingham. These guys think they're the best.
There's a nice looking pint.
What's this one?
This is Legend.
Philip Darby has been making beer for more than 20 years, but is still passionate about it. He started small when microbreweries were far and few between. These days, there are 54 of them in and around Nottingham. Philip's Micro Nottingham Brewery is one of the biggest. It was the taste of his very first pint that led to a lifelong love affair with what Shakespeare called a meal for a king.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes, I can distinctly remember the first pint I had. It was the Carpenter's Arms at Stanton by Dale, and we were on a church outing having a walk, and all that walking had given us a thirst, and we went into the pub, and the distance of time makes me can't recall whether I was old enough to buy one or not, but it was a pint of Courage Directors, and it was absolute nectar. And I suppose I was smitten then and have been ever since. Very, very good friend and myself were keen amateur brewers. We had a commercial catering company at the time. People were saying, actually, that's as good as you get in the pub. It sowed the seed of thought that maybe there was something in this brewing business, and there were a few, very few microbreweries popping up around the country, and we thought, well, it might be a good idea, good time to give it a try.
Nottingham Brewery produces 60 barrels a week. There are 5 core brands, including Legend and Extra Pale Ale.
This is what's called digging out. These are the spent grains, and it's the sugar from these that creates the alcohol and gives the beer its body, its colour and its strength.
The spent grains might be binned, but they don't go to waste. Local farmers come to collect them. They're taken away and used to feed cattle. Recycling doesn't get much better than this.
Recently, the beginning of the month in fact, the lease terminated, and we've taken the pub back in-house and have an operations manager to look after it and oversee it. And we are now looking at another premises in the centre of town, which will be slightly different to the traditional boozer. It will have a coffee roastery within it, and so hopefully it'll be all things to all people.
Any other plans for the future?
We will continue to grow on the retail side, because we believe that's the way forward.
And what does that mean?
More pubs, more. If the roastery bar works as a format, then we may roll that out to other areas.
So the Nottingham Brewery tap could be the first of many as the business continues to grow. Philip Darby shows no sign of slowing down, although he admits the best part of his working day is at the end when he can have a sup.
You know, after a hard day's work brewing and selling beer and making sure that everything's running right and the right people are in the right places, to come in here at 5 o'clock or 5:30 or whatever it is and have a pint of Legend is still magical. At the end of the day, just to take the froth off a cold one, it's unbeatable. That's good.
If you own a business or are thinking of setting one up, the one thing you've got to really get to grips with is insurance. The Russell Scanlon firm, based here in Nottingham, is thought to be the oldest in the UK, and its sales and marketing director, Mike Dickinson, joins me now. Mike, first of all, just tell me what you actually do.
Well, we arrange all types of insurance for businesses and, to a lesser extent, sort of high net worth household insurance for clients for businesses all over the UK, but predominantly around the East Midlands area.
Give me an example of the sort of variety of businesses you cover.
Well, you know, we've got a wide variety of different clients, from TV companies to a microbrewery scheme which numbers over 100 breweries throughout the UK as clients.
What advice would you give to those people thinking of starting up a business?
Well, there are certain legal requirements that you have to have, particularly if you're employing people or if you're operating certain types of equipment that you need to have inspected. But it's largely protecting your equipment and your contents, the stock, and the future-proofing of the business as well by way of loss of gross profit insurance, which a lot of people don't include.
Your Elvis was fantastic, by the way, nearly as good as this guy here.
Yeah, it's
very good. Yeah. Well, let's move on with the stories. We could stand here all day talking to people, couldn't we? And probably will.
That's my Elvis lip.
Oh God, yeah.
It's so cold
brilliant.
it won't kill.
Oh no. That's the only thing that's missing as well.
Everything else works though.
Yeah, fantastic.
In the cold.
So when we were recording last week in the you got away with that. In the Victoria Centre Market, I stopped to have a chat with the man who runs the place to find out how the market's doing. So how is the Vicky Centre Market doing, and in fact how are markets across Nottingham doing? Well, the man who knows is Neil Earhart, and Neil, you're the marketing manager for Nottingham, so across the city how are your markets faring?
Traditionally it's a quiet time of year, especially for the open markets, but we're getting a quite good footfall in the Victoria Centre Market.
Are you finding that the improvements to the Vicky Centre then have a knock-on effect for you?
Yeah, the Victoria Centre have installed new escalators that are right at the entrance to the Victoria Centre Market, so it's really, really easy to get in now.
I know last time we were here, people on the stalls were telling us that what you get now is a lot of foreign students who kind of used to shopping in markets at home. Is that a boost for you then, they're coming here?
Yeah, it does help. I think markets have always attracted an emerging population, and we sell a lot of ethnic foods in here, so we've got foods coming in from Afro-Caribbean communities, from the Chinese communities, and so there's lots here for those emerging communities, but also for our existing communities.
So what would you say to anyone in Nottingham watching this now? Why should they come here?
Well, I think historically markets are cheaper than the high streets. You're getting a better choice at some of our stalls. You're getting personal service from the stall holders that know their products right from the very foundations, give you advice on how to deal with them. So it's not the faceless high streets. There's a bit of character in the market.
I don't know why, but this stall in the Victoria Centre Market, Deviant Angel, kind of caught my eye, so let's find out a bit more about it. So Bill, what's the thinking behind this place then?
We're an alternative shop for all sorts of alternative genres. So it's not just goth, but it's punk, industrial, cyber, glam rock. So it's embraces all the genres of alternative.
And what kind of people come in then? Who do you get?
All age groups and all walks of life. You get people nearer Christmas that are looking for presents for their grandchildren, children, that kind of thing. So it's just everybody and everybody.
And I notice you've got this stall, you've got the stall next door. What's your next stop then?
Next stop, hopefully, we'll have the stall right in the corner in the front. And once that goes well, if it goes well, we'll be able to then open a stall at the back still and separate the two, so encourage people to come to the back of the market. Well, that's the plan anyway.
And have you got plans to take anyone on, create jobs or anything?
We put the application for the stall at the front. If we get that, it's a company called Shore Trust, where you take someone that's on disability benefit like that and give them 16 hours a week. We're going to hopefully be taking on someone like that.
Well, that's it, but you might remember Des doing a bit of Elvis earlier on. Well, by the way, what's your name?
It's Dave.
Dave, another Dave. Dave here can sing Elvis too, so they're going to play the show out. I'm not going to say anything. Take it away, guys.
Well, it's 1 for the money,
I 2 for the show,
3 to get red,
and I'll go, cat, go,
but don't you step my blue suede shoes.
Yeah.
Well, you can do anything but lay off of my blue suede shoes. Well, you can knock me down, step my face,
baby,
slander my name all over the place.
Kiss me.
Do anything that you want to do. Now, lay off of them shoes, and don't you step my blue suede shoes.
He's good to me.
Hey, you can do anything
take it
but
away,
lay
baby.
off of my blue suede shoes.
Yes.
Nottingham Trent University, working with you. Proud sponsors of Working Week.